Welcome to Midnight Scribes, Creative Vibes, the show where we interview the best of the bronies and find out precisely what makes them tick. Now, today on the show we have a very special guest and an up-and-comer in the music scene. He's done artwork, he's done fan fiction, he has been on a recent compilation album on Canterlot Hills. Hill is Hill. Sketchy Sounds has told me this, it's one hill, not many. But the guest here is absolutely fantastic. Please give a round of applause to Sights Unseen. Sights, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks.
Oh, that's good, that's good. I hope you're not feeling too nervous about being on the show. I mean, I know you've been involved in the fandom for quite a while, but is this like one of your first interviews, or?
This is the first ever.
Oh, we've got the first one. Oh,
it's pretty exciting.
Oh, I know. I'm actually really excited about this because I've been listening to your music on your YouTube channel recently, as a bit of, a bit of prep for the show to find out, because I want to know what my guests are up to and what they're doing. And I have to say, your music is, My Little Pony fandom is quite happy, quite bouncy. Your music, it's quite emotional, dark, quite dramatic, quite electronic. It's quite different from the norm.
It's not quite what you would expect from My Little Pony.
Yeah, it's like if My Little Pony was on an acid trip, we might be somewhere along the way. But it's quite an interesting type of music to do. I mean, how are you drawn to that sort of genre?
It's just kind of how I started making music. When I started making music, it was just kind of a way it was like an emotional outlet, And I was going through some hard times, so most of the songs kind of reflected that. They were sad or dark. And then as things got better, I started making slightly more happy songs, but just that kind of gloomy feeling just kind of stuck with me through most of my songs. And I just really enjoy writing about things that's kind of like sad or darker things, just because, I don't know, there's something about it that draws me to it. But yeah, that's kind of how that started.
Well, it's certainly a bit unusual in like you said, it's a bit more dramatic and a bit darker, and it seems to be you mentioned how it's kind of reflecting things that you've been going through in your life, and the name as well, like Sights Unseen, that's quite a cryptic name to go for. I mean, how did that come about? I mean, was that just a name you chose, or was there a particular meaning behind it?
Okay, well, I don't know how far back you went on my channel, but if you look at the very first couple of videos, the name that is in the videos is actually a different name than Sights Unseen. And so, because when I started a while ago, I had a different name, a different music name, which was very, very kind of funny sounding. But I decided I wanted to change it. So I was thinking what would be a good name for a musician? And I was just kind of I was looking at a bunch of other people's names and stuff, and I was thinking what if I did Sounds Unheard or something like that? But then I thought that sounds kind of silly, and then I just went with the different part, Sights Unseen. I was thinking, oh well, that sounds kind of interesting, something people haven't seen before. It's new, it's different, which is something that it's what I'm trying to bring to everything that I do creatively. So that's how I chose that name.
But yeah, I've been listening to some of the tracks you've been doing. I've listened to one track I've been listening to quite a lot recently is Revelation, which I've been absolutely loving, and I've also heard the song Trap you did for Five Nights at Freddy's 3 for the fandom there.
Mm-hmm.
And well, firstly, I love those tracks, and honestly, they're absolutely brilliant. But you've collaborated with quite a lot of people as well. I know you've collaborated with is it Clavy Sounds?
Yep, he helped me with Trap.
And you've also collaborated because you've had a track, Chance of Loss, on the Lycan These Beats compilation. If I said that right?
Yes. But that track was not a collaboration. That one was I did that by myself. The other collaboration I think you're thinking of is Sister, which was also on the album.
That is the one I was thinking of. Yes, that is the track. Thank you for reminding me, because you've collaborated with a few people and you've been getting tracks out there and you've been getting a bit of attention. I mean, particularly with with Chance of Loss getting on the compilation. I mean, how has this occurred? Like, has it just been networking, or has it just been slowly building yourself up?
Well, really, it's just because, like with the getting on the Lycan These Beats album, I'm friends with Lycan and Fritzy, who are the people who put together the album. And so it was just kind of like, oh, you guys are making an album, cool. And they asked if I wanted to be on it, and so I said yeah. And so that's it was pretty easy to be on the album, but it was definitely a lot of fun. And like with collabs, so far all the people I've collabed with are friends. I haven't really like reached out to any of the musicians I don't really know and asked, hey, do you want to collab? It's mostly just with people that I've met through like Skype or YouTube and stuff like that, and just become friends. And then we're like, oh hey, you know, we like each other's music, we should collab on a song, and that's how those turned out. That's how those came about.
So is there anyone in particular then, if the opportunity arose, you'd like to collaborate with?
Like somebody I don't know, or someone, or just anybody.
Oh, for anyone, look, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, the one person that I want to collab with more than anyone is Aviators. He is like, I kind of look up to him a little too much, but he's really like the biggest inspiration to all my music. I don't know if you could tell, but when you listen to my music, everyone tells me that it sounds very much like something Aviators would make. And I guess it's just because I listen to his music a lot, and he's like one of the only inspirations, because I don't know, his music's just so good, and if I could collab with him, that'd be pretty awesome.
Well, who knows? I mean, maybe in the future there might be the opportunity to do that. I mean, because you've already released a fair bit of music. I mean, I've noticed on your Bandcamp you've done quite a lot of singles, which have also been on YouTube, and you've also done the Destiny EP as well. So you've been quite consistent in terms of, like, you know, churning out really good music. I mean, where do you plan on going from here?
Well, I don't exactly know where I plan on going from here, because I don't exactly know where here is. But honestly, I just plan. My plan is just to keep doing what I'm doing. And I mean, I'm loving what I'm doing right now with the music and art, and you know, making friends and meeting all these new people, like so many people that I would have never met if I hadn't started making music for the fandom or art for the fandom. And it's just like, I really enjoy how things are turning out right now, and it makes me happy, and I like helping make other people happy. And so I just plan on keep doing what I'm doing. Nothing in particular.
So, I mean, you've obviously had quite a good time then in the fandom thus far. I mean, what are your thoughts on the fandom in general? Like, have you found it to be quite a good place in particular, or has there been any particular things that you've noticed about it that you find quite interesting?
Yeah, I personally love this fandom. Most of the people that I've met here are just like, they're just so nice. They're such nice people. Like, everyone's so helpful and caring. Most of the time, obviously, you're gonna find people that are, you know, not as nice. But yeah, I wouldn't say there's anything that really surprises me about the fandom. I think it was pretty weird getting into it first, because it was new, and it was like, oh my gosh, what are these people that like make music and art about this show? And some of them seem pretty crazy. But now that I'm actually in the fandom and, like, you know, engaged in making creative content, it's not nearly as strange. It's very welcoming, I'd say.
I mean, that's kind of a similar thoughts in terms of how I came into the fandom as well, because when you're outside looking in, it looks quite strange in some respects, you know, particularly in terms of the age of the people involved who are liking this show, because obviously it's a kid show aimed at little girls, and we're late teens, young adults who are, you know, liking the show, and it's a bit, you know, unusual. But I mean, the fandom I've found has been absolutely lovely so far. You know, I mean, I think like you said, it is a fantastic fandom to be a part of. But how did you become a fan of the show, and from it then into the fandom?
Well, that's a interesting story. I used to be like, I used to be just like every other guy, I guess you could say. You know, my sisters used to watch the show a lot, and I'd just be like, that's such a girly show. You know, you girls, you're such girls for watching this girly show. You know, because it looks pretty girly, obviously, and it has that look to it, but because they watch it in the living room, they would watch it where it was kind of like, unless I was locked away in my room, I kind of had to see it, or I would be exposed to it. And just over a course of a couple of months, I kind of started warming up to it, and I started realizing like, oh wow, this is actually kind of an interesting show. You know, it's got good characters, it's got some nice plot lines. And then I don't know exactly when it happened, but it just kind of happened where I realized, oh, I'm sitting down and like can't wait to watch this show again. But at that point, I considered myself a fan of the show, but I didn't actually know there was a fandom for the show. I don't even remember exactly how I found it, but I just remember, I think I might have been on YouTube and I was looking for episodes to watch, and then obviously the fan created stuff would pop up alongside it, and I'd be like, oh, what's this weird, what's this stuff, and then just kind of snowballed from there.
I mean, I know you've done music as a part of the fandom, but I also know that you do art as well. Like, you've got a DeviantArt under the name A Chicken Cupcake.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right, firstly, that sounds like a disgusting food. Chicken and a cupcake does not match. I cannot imagine that as a food.
I can imagine it. I can imagine it tasting pretty horrible.
Yeah, it sounds like something that you'd have to put in a microwave for 60 seconds, like some sort of really bad ready meal.
Yeah.
Just like, oh. But, so, I suppose, where did that name come from, and who is actually your favourite pony then?
Well, to answer who my favorite pony is, my favorite pony would be Applejack.
Yes! Another one! Sorry.
Yeah, she doesn't get nearly enough love. But, as for where the name came from, so, let's see. It started before I joined the fandom, or before I even watched the show. For my Xbox Live profile, it used to be a toxic chicken. And then when I joined Xbox Live, I wanted to change it up, so I was deciding, like, well, I want to keep the chicken part because I just think that's kind of funny. I was thinking, like, so what else might go with a chicken? And for some reason, I was thinking of cupcakes, and so I just put that down. I put a chicken cupcake. And then that was my Xbox Live profile. And then when I joined the fandom, it was like, I should start creating content. I was just trying to think of names, and I'm like, you know what? Why not just go with a chicken cupcake? It sounds pretty funny. And so that's how that I ended up picking that as my name. And then I read later on that, and then I found out later on that my name kind of has a double meaning, or not a double meaning, but like because I also read Cupcakes, the fanfic.
Oh yes, is that the creepypasta?
Yeah, the creepypasta one.
Oh yes. Oh crikey, I remember that.
And then also chicken, which is like, you know, Scootaloo. So yeah, that's not how I came up with the name though.
No, it's just a complete coincidence that they're.
It's a complete coincidence. I did not intend that at all.
Oh, definitely.
It was destiny.
Destiny indeed. But so, do you happen to have a favorite episode as well, or favorite episodes?
That's kind of hard for me to decide. I really love like the entire show. Like, I know some people are like, oh, that episode was horrible, or oh, I didn't like this episode. But for me, it's just like all the episodes are good. But if I had to pick one that was my favorite, it would probably be either the season 4 finale, just because it was epic. It was amazing. Or the Slice of Life episode, episode 100. That one was pretty awesome too.
Well, I'm going to have to take your word on it, because I've been out of the fandom for a wee while, and part of the reason why I'm doing the shows is allowing me to kind of work myself back in, and I haven't actually seen those episodes yet, so I'm going to have to work my way up to them. But they're sounding good if they're as epic as you're claiming them to be.
Oh, definitely. Where'd you leave off on the episodes?
Oh, crikey, do I really want to admit to this on air? I think the last one I watched was the season 3 finale, and then I kind of dropped out the fandom for a while because I was finishing university and I was trying to find a job, and outside things were kind of interfering. So I've got a lot
Yeah.
of catching up to do.
Oh, that's interesting because that's about the same. That's about the time that I started joining the fandom was around the season 3 finale. I think it was like 2 episodes before the finale.
All right, so you came in not late, but relatively
Mm-mm.
far into the show then.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah, because I came in. I think it was about the beginning or round about the beginning of season 2. I think was when I first started.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I got dragged in by the producer and a couple of other friends into it, and I kind of thought, oh well, let's see what the show's like, and then it's like you watch an episode and then you watch the following 26 episodes, and then that's it. There's no end. You just continue
Yeah. Then
on.
there's no going back.
Yeah, I think it's like once you've committed, you've got to kind of nail your mast, your flag to the wall and kind of stick by your colours.
Yeah.
But speaking of colours, I mean, your artwork, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's very colourful, very cute, very happy, very unlike Sights Unseen. There's a very different tone that I'm getting from your artwork.
It's also a very different name for my DeviantArt account.
Yeah, definitely
Uh,
not.
no, yeah, I just like with I started doing art after I started music. I just kind of felt like if music was my emotional outlet, this is way back when I was using music as my emotional outlet for my feelings, and I felt like if I use music to get out my my sad feelings, my more dark, not dark, but just kind of dramatic or melancholic or whatever, those kind of feelings, I should have a way to get out my happy feelings when I do have them. And so I started doing art, and oh my gosh, I was really bad. I mean, I guess anyone who just starts out is pretty bad, but like, looking back, I'm just like, oh, this is really not good art. But it was a way for me to get out my happier feelings. And from there, as I got better, I really enjoyed drawing happy stuff. Like, I do not like drawing sad or dark pictures for some reason, but I love making songs about it. So it's weird like that, but that's why most of my art is more happier or colorful, because I love colors. I love making things as colorful and vibrant as possible. And so whenever I do art, I usually try and pick out the most visually appealing colors.
So would you consider yourself then to be kind of, I mean, some people in the fandom, like, they might do multiple things, but they kind of focus down one avenue. Would you consider yourself to be musician and artist kind of on the same level then, because you use them for different outlets?
Yes, I definitely yeah, like I know what you're saying. Some people are like, "Oh, I do music and art as a little side thing," or vice versa. But no, I definitely see myself as a musician and an artist.
And I know that in the artwork that you do, you also do commissions, I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
Have you, could you tell us a little bit about that? Give you an opportunity to sell yourself a wee bit.
Oh, well, yeah. There's not much to say. I just do commissions. I do line art. If you just want if you just want some line art for any character that you want drawn, I do flat colors, which is basically, for people who don't know, it's just like one solid color, like no shading or special lighting effects or anything. And then I also do what I call it full colored, where it's got shading and everything going along with it. And obviously I could do like special requests or something if you wanted something a little different than that. And it's pretty cheap. It's like line colors is like $10 or line art is like $10. Flat color is 15, and a full colored is 20, which my friends tell me is pretty is on the cheaper side for commissions, but I don't believe them.
Well, I suppose it just depends on the artist and what they're doing. I mean, I've certainly seen the prices floating around into all sorts of different figures, and I'm no expert in terms of what's the correct amount or whatnot. But I mean, for the
Hmm.
drawings you do, I mean, which are absolutely great. I mean, like I said, they're really colourful, they're really vibrant, they're absolutely, they're really nice to enjoy. And with your music as well, you're a complete package, I have to say. And that's not me just saying that to get a compliment out there. I genuinely mean it. Honestly, you got some great stuff out there, Sites, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you put out in the future as well.
Thank you. It's good to hear.
But honestly, thank you so much, Sites, for coming onto the show. I know this has, being your first interview has been a bit nerve-wracking. Just before we wrap up, can you perhaps tell the audience where we can find you?
Yeah. If you are interested in some art, you can head over to my DeviantArt, which is my name over on DeviantArt is a chicken cupcake. There's no spaces between any of those words. And if you want to find music, you can head over to my YouTube, which is Sights Unseen, and there is a space between those words. Those are the places I'm mainly at. I mean, I'm kind of on Tumblr a little bit, and Twitter and stuff like that. But yeah.
Well, if you've got any links, we'll put them down in the description below so you'll be able to visit any of his sites and enjoy the work he's been doing. I know I certainly have. But thank you so much, Sites, for coming onto the show. It is really appreciated. And I guess just to wrap up the show for today, well, the final word from Midnight Scribe is, as always, please subscribe.